Hi, welcome to Kassy's Parlor. Today we are going to make a really sweet Noel card for Christmas time using supplies from the Makers Movement. So we have this awesome new paper pad called Christmas Doodles from the Makers Movement. I'm just going to flip through really quick so you can see, oh look, they have sentiments, so you could cut those out, make those toppers for your cards or whatever you do, if you do scrapbooking, things like that. There's some really super fun patterns and designs in here. Some really fun, oh look at that, it's a pretty snowflake. I love these doodles. See those doodles there? Anyway, it's really pretty paper. It's got a nice sheen to it too. It's not super flat. It's kind of like satin finish. Really high quality paper. So love that. We're going to use that on our card. We also have clear acetate sheets that we'll be using. We're going to do a tiny bit of shaker on this card, and then I also have the double-sided adhesive foam. So we're going to use all of these things to make this beautiful card. Also, I have some really fun shaker bits. This is from all three of these. Let me just put them upside down here for you, so you can see. All of these are from their Happy Holidays set, and all three kind of come together in a pack. So you get them like this. I've taken them apart so I can actually use them. And today we're going to use holly. I'll give you a quick look. It's got snowflakes and trees and little red balls. Super pretty. And we're probably going to use a little bit of the Christmas tree caviar, which are just a bunch of little different colored little ball bead kind of things. Super cool. So I think we're going to use both of those. That's my thoughts at the moment. But I'm going to put these up here out of the way for now. The die set we're using, so these are dies. I've just kind of set them up. I think I'm going to do kind of that layout, just sort of thinking through my plan and how we're going to make the card today. And this die set is called Noel die set. So it comes with the four letters that make the word Noel. It's got 3 starbursts and it's got this heart. Okay, so that is the die set. So that's everything really. So let's just get started. I've got a 5.5-inch square card base. Okay, so it's already been folded in half and ready to go. And so first thing I want to do is let's pick out the paper that's going to be the base of our card here. So we'll cut it down so that it fits sort of as a mat for the background of this. Okay, so I've picked out some papers that I really like. I love these two colors together. So I think what I'm going to do is have this be the background, and then I will cut the Noel letters out of the red so the red can sit on top, and that really makes it pop off of the page there. So that is what we're going to do. So I'm going to cut this down. Okay, so we've got the crossover 2. We've got the 3 plates that it comes with. If you've never used a crossover 2, I do have a video walking through how to use it and my review of the machine. So feel free to go back in my YouTube videos and find it. It is a really great, strong machine to use. So definitely worth checking out. All right, so I'm just getting everything set up. I've got this paper that we're going to cut the Noel out of. Okay. So let's see, we want to, so I'm going to put the letters down on my board here, cut facing up, okay, and then I just love the font of this, it's so cool. Okay, so we're going to put that down there, and then we'll lay our paper on top of that. Doesn't have to be perfectly lined up or anything because that paper has got a continuous pattern, so it's going to work just fine. And then I do have 3 little starbursts here that I really would love to use on the front of that card. I think it'd be beautiful. And I've got some really beautiful gold cardstock. So I'm just going to cut a small piece of that so we can have a little bit of bling on the top of our card. All right, so I'm going to put those kind of close together. The really nice thing about having this large plate is that we get to cut everything all at once, you know, or at least in 1 or 2 passes. I am going to do 2 passes because the next thing we're going to cut is the foam adhesive, back foam, sorry, and I want to do that separate, okay? So we'll set the dial and then we just run this through. right, awesome. Okay, so some of them stuck right to the paper. They definitely cut all the way through. We are good to go. Okay, so now we're going to cut into the adhesive back foam. And what I really want to do is recut out all of the Noel letters, okay, because I want to raise them up. So this is a really nice, easy way to get the exact shape of the adhesive foam, you know, so that we can raise them up. I'm putting the metal piece on top because it's pretty thick, and so okay, let's see what we've got here. Very nice. So we can see that it is completely cut out these letters for us. Sometimes the backing part needs a little extra help, but for the most part, it just, oh, look at that. There, it cut right out. You just need to be patient and kind of let it work its way out because it's going through a few layers here and it's very thick. And the thing I really love about this is that it doesn't squish your foam. You know, like this foam padding still has full integrity. And a lot of other machines will squish this foam and make it unusable. So I love this feature. Okay. So now we have all the letters cut out of foam, which is amazing. What we're going to do is first take the top layer of the adhesive off of the N. Don't touch the O just yet. We're going to do the N, E, and L for now. But the O, we're going to do something a little bit special too, okay? So this is what I was talking about with being able to raise this off of the card base and really give it some dimension and have it perfectly lined up and cut out of this adhesive back foam. And you saw how easy it was to do. This is one of my favorite things to do with the crossover, is to be able to cut out this adhesive back foam and have it just fit so well. You got to just take a minute and really line it up. But look at, now I have this really cool dimensional letter that I get to put on my card. So find the top and get your letter. And we're just going to do this for the E and the L, same exact way. Whoops, it's very sticky, so be careful. Okay, make sure it's all lined up right. You really want to take your time with this step too, because if it's not aligned quite right, you're going to see that white through there. Okay, and E, and let's do the L. Oh man, it's so sticky. It's good stuff. Okay, so I kind of start at the top and line it up. Can you see there? Yep. And then just make sure the bottom is lined up. And usually if you get that in, the middle's going to just fall right into place. Okay, so we have N-E-L. Now for the O, we're going to make this the shaker part, okay? But we've got the cover and we've got the base, and this will be our shaker. So we take out the middle. You can definitely use those pieces later. Do not throw them away. But now is when we need our acetate. And what I want to do is cut out this shape, and it can be slightly inside of the shape, but it needs to not be outside of the shape, right? So I'm just going to take a marker and trace, whoops, try not to move the O, trace around it, all right? The only reason you can't cut this out with the die is because you're going to cut out that middle, and we definitely don't want to do that. So now you've got the O. So now I'm just going to use my scissors real quick. It really doesn't have to be perfect because you're not going to see it. And I'm going to go on the inside of that line just by a little bit, like maybe 1/8 of an inch or 1/16 of an inch or something, just so it's on the inside of the O, but not going too far in that it's going to, you know, leave a gap where that window is in the middle of the O. That's the point of this, is just to make a nice opening, or I mean, to make it, yeah, see, I need to do it even just a little bit more. We just want to make sure that that opening where the O is not going to let any little shaker bits fall through. So I'm just going to keep trimming until I'm satisfied. I don't want any of this adhesive. Sorry, I keep calling it adhesive. Any of this, I don't want any of this acetate showing through the outside. So I'm just going to cut a little bit more off the edge here. Definitely does not need to be perfect. It helps to keep that blue protective layer on too while you're doing this so you can really see what you're doing. So now can you see there's a little bit of a border around the edge here? All right, so now I'm going to peel this protective coating off. Okay, can you see how easy that comes off? Now I have a clear piece of acetate that you cannot see. So now I'm going to peel the top layer of my O, and I'm going to put this acetate down, and just take your time and be careful, especially now that it's clear and you cannot see it. All right, and I'm going to flip it over and really press down all around all the edges to make sure I'm making a really secure window here. So now this is going to be the top window of our O to make the shaker. Now we can take some double-sided adhesive and put it on the back of our O. This is going to be the top, and we're kind of doing this backwards, but as far as the shaker part goes, but it's going to work out just fine. And it's, you know, it's kind of a different way to do it because we're just doing one letter, but I think it's going to be really fun and cute. So here we go. We're going to put the O cover on top of this, just like we did those other letters now. Okay, but now it's got acetate in here, so when it's time, we'll put some shaker bits in here and we'll build the rest of our card. So easy, right? It's going to be super quick and easy and really fun. All right. Okay, so now we have everything cut out. We have the O ready for some sprinkles so we can make a little bit of a shaker card. This is going to be a super simple card, but it's going to have that shaker element, which is going to give it, you know, a little bit more dynamic nature. And it's just, I love when I can make something really fun and quick and simple that people are going to love. So we're first going to stick down the card base. So I'm just putting double-sided adhesive all over the back so it sticks down nice. We're going to stick it right to our card base. So to do this, especially when it lines up perfectly with the entire card, I like to stand it up tent-fold and then just line up my paper the way I want, and then I just sort of use my fingers at the bottom to line up the edges and the bottom so I get a nice even application, and then I press it down and then it perfectly covers the front of that card. Okay, so now we have our card base all ready to go. Okay, so now we just have to place our pieces and decide how we're going to put this together and build the shaker and stick it all down. One thing that can happen here, I got a little bit of debris inside this O, and that's because that acetate is just kind of staticky, honestly. So you just want to be careful with that you're not letting that get in there, any kind of debris get in there. Make sure your letters are centered where you want them to be. I want this to be a little bit whimsy and kind of funky, kind of. These letters are so cool, and I'm not looking for like perfect spacing or a nice square. I just really kind of like it like this. And then I've got these awesome stars, remember? These are really going to help finish it up. So I'm just kind of deciding my placement at the moment. Okay, those are good. And then I've got one more that I'm going to put over here. Oh, look at how cool that is. I'm just loving this. I love the font. I think it lends itself to this sort of style of card, and it's super, super cute. So let's make sure that I'm all nice and straight. I do want it to at least be straight across, even though it's a little bit funky kind of. I'm going to stick down the end. So I'm just going to peel. So I'm just peeling the backing off that adhesive back foam, okay, and I'm going to stick the end down, make sure it's nice and straight. Okay, so now that's stuck down, and that's not going anywhere, and it's raised off the card base and looks fantastic. We're going to skip the O, we'll do that last since we're going to put some shaker elements in there. taking the backing off again and just making sure before you stick it down, just make sure you have it right where you want it. Okay, now those can go on the side. Let's do our shaker and then we'll add the rest of the little bits. So I'm going to turn my O over. I did end up cutting out just one other piece of acetate. We're going to put it on the back of this after we put in the shaker bits. This is okay. So I'm using both of these. I really don't need a lot because this is a pretty small opening. So I'm just going to use my finger and just grab a few. You don't want to have too few or too many. You just got to find the sweet spot, really. These particular shaker bits are kind of substantial and thick, so you just want to be careful that because they might stand up and it'll make it hard to close the shaker. So it looks like it's super full, but it all kind of settles to the bottom once you get it all put together. But I love that we have little beads and, you know, those little sort of clay looking shapes too. Okay, really cute. I'm trying to get other colors in here. There we go. I'm super happy with that. That's a good amount. Close that up so I don't make a mess. Okay, now we're going to take, the backing off of the O. So now we can make our actual shaker window and close it right up. We've got our other piece of acetate that I've cut. And I'm just going to put it right over the top. Oh, that's beautiful. That worked out perfectly. Sometimes it's staticky and it likes to pull those beads up into, you know, toward it. Okay, so now we've got a shaker. This is very exciting. Yay, we've got a shaker. So now we're just going to take some double-sided adhesive, whatever kind you have will work just fine. Now we're just sticking, you know, this acetate piece to the card base, so no problem. Just go around that opening. You don't want to have any tape showing through the edge there. And now we're just going to line up our O, figure out where we want it, and then we're done. And I love that you can see the snowflake pattern behind it. And look at that. Now we have a shaker card with just the O. We have the N-E-L raised up. Really, really nice. Simple card. You could make a lot of these. This part doesn't really even take that long, and you have a fun, you know, interactive element to your card. Stars. These are like the best finishing touch ever. Especially in this nice gold metallic paper. Looks really, really pretty. Oops, we're upside down here. Okay, nice finishing touch for sure. So let's get these up here. Okay. Okay, now we're almost done. For real. Let's get that over there. There we go. Look at how that just finishes up that card. Makes it just perfect. So there we go. We've got our awesome Noel card. Really pretty simple if you think about it. Just a little bit of die cutting with the foam and the paper, the pattern paper, making this background, which is just cutting down a piece of pattern paper. Remember, these all came from the Christmas Doodles set from the Maker's Movement and the Noel die set. And the sprinkles were from the Happy Holidays shaker sprinkle set. So that's it. Really simple card, really pretty. Love the pop of color. I hope you enjoyed this project and found some inspiration. If you'd like to learn more about the Maker's Movement, you can visit themakersmovement.com to see all of their products and learn more about them. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to my channel and pressing the bell so you don't miss future videos. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.